Hey, welcome to my channel. Today we have wind, we have sun, we have cloud, everything you don't want when you're trying to do filming. Well, that's great because we're going to test out the camera quality of this little DJI Spark against the GoPro Session, which is on a quad here, and against the newest RUNCAM 3, which is also on a quad. Stay tuned. Alright, so it wouldn't be a fair comparison if I flew the Spark and then I flew one of these race quads, because these race quads go about 3 to 4 times as fast as the Spark, even when the Spark's in the fastest position. And these cameras are designed to look pretty cool. And race quads are extremely agile because you don't have any of that GPS, the barometer, all those silly things. It's the pilot that controls it. And you can actually do it quite well with a race quad, as you can see in this video. Here's some video of me flying around the area. So now, in order to do a fair comparison, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these cameras out and I'm actually going to Velcro them to the top of the Spark and have the Spark fly around. Alright, so I'll pop out the GoPro Session out of this here holder, and I'll pop out the RUNCAM 3, which is the newest camera for quadcopters, high performance quadcopters. So these quadcopters, I'll just move over here. They have no cameras in them now. One final piece of information: the DJI Spark has a camera that records at 1080p at 30 frames a second. So that means to keep this fair, I have to use these cameras at 1080p. It's going to be a tight fit with the RUNCAM. It's millimeters apart from the prop spinning. Oh, I'm hitting it there. So it's going to be a tight fit. So we have to be very careful, but hey, I'm sure I can get it to work. Our best friend is Velcros. Velcro's on, we're all set to rock. I show it to the back, you see it wobbles. Okay, we have the Spark down here with the GoPro, so we're going to take off in this wind, see if it can hold its position with the GoPro on its back, and fly around. I'll put video on both and then compare them. So far so good. We'll see how that goes. It's fighting the wind. The GoPro's on an angle. I'm hoping the GoPro doesn't fall over into the props. Take it up a bit higher. Get a good view of the beach and the horizon. Let's see if the clouds continue to stand out or the exposure changes with both cameras. All right, let's bring it down low to the ground now. Let's take it through some obstacles. Okay, let's put it back on the landing pad. All right, we'll try now the RUNCAM 3. Hopefully it's not a disaster. Check this prop out. Look how close that is to the back. It's gonna be a tight fit. We're talking like maybe 1 millimeter distance missing that. Well, I'm guessing the RUNCAM 3 is a bit heavier because that just flew all over with the wind. Stabilized itself now. There we go. Let's take it out. Whoa, look at the wind take it. Let's go up a bit. We're gonna look around at the beach. Same thing. Check out with the clouds. Now the RUNCAM 3 has wide dynamic range, so the cloud should still be appearing as well as the water and the sand. Nothing should be overexposed or underexposed. We'll bring her down. Look over here towards the sun with some obstacles. So pick up some speed. Nice and low to the ground. Bring it even lower. There we go. All right, so let's bring it back. So we've seen all three cameras, and remember I had to set the GoPro and the RunCam at a 1080p resolution so that it matched that of the Spark. The images look pretty good. Let's just review quickly. So I'm going to start off with the GoPro. So GoPros, especially these little sessions, are designed for one thing. Well, actually all the GoPros are designed for one thing, and that's for taking action shots. And it's usually made that you hold the GoPro someplace close to your body. So it's either at arm's length, or it's on a surfboard at the tip of the surfboard, or off your helmet looking down. They have a very wide angle lens. Now you can make that narrow, not as narrow as that of the Spark, but you can make it much more narrow, but then it doesn't look like a GoPro and you're kind of cropping the sensor, and there's not many people that do that because you're really defeating the purpose of a GoPro. So GoPros have that super wide view. They use some sort of technology to give you a super wide view, especially the way the lens is designed. So that's why I left it on the super wide view, because that's what GoPros do. Now, GoPros are not designed to fly or to be on an object that's going really smooth and looking at a horizon. So it didn't look that great. The only thing that looked great is seeing the props from the Spark in the picture. GoPros are more designed for, as I mentioned earlier, you have to have action, you have to have movement. So that's why they fit so well on the FPV drones, quads, race quads that I have around here. So when you're flying with those, with a GoPro, you're not flying in a straight line. You're moving all over the place, up, down, left, right, moving at fast action. And these things are perfect for that. So they take great images for that purpose. But for the purpose of just flying slow, like any of the DJI products or any camera drones do, that slow motion, scenic motion, they're not great. Oh, and one other thing, just before anybody asks in the comments what GoPro session I was using, I actually have the Session 5 and I have the Session 4. So I use the Session 4 because the Session 4, I'm not so worried about it falling off the drone and getting lost, because I have quite a few of these. But I only have one Session 5, and since I was Velcroing it to the top, I didn't want to put a Session 5 up there in case it fell off and plopped down someplace that I couldn't find it. So I use a Session 4. Now, before anybody asks, anybody who knows anything about GoPros, if you look at any GoPro from the GoPro 4 all the way up to the GoPro 5, doesn't matter if you use the larger camera or the Sessions, when you run in 1080p mode, they all look the same. You can't pick apart the image. If you're running at 1080p, 30 frames a second, they all look the same. The only time they look different is in 4K. And even then, the GoPro 4 and the GoPro 5 look identical. So all that to be said, I use the Session on that, and it wouldn't matter if I use the Session 5 or I use the larger GoPro or anything like that. At 1080p, they're all gonna look the same on a super wide view. So that's what you got. So what did I think about the GoPro image after all that's being said? It's basically, as I mentioned, they're not really designed for that. I would definitely take the Spark image over the GoPro image. Next, we have the RunCam 3. This here only shoots in 1080p, but it can do 60 frames per second, and it has the selling feature of wide dynamic range, which means it's really designed for FPV race quads, because race quads will go from dark to bright. When they're doing flips in the sky, you're looking at the sky 1 second, a millisecond later you're looking at the ground. So you need a really fast refresh rate and a really fast exposure level. So these cameras are great for that. So how did it work on the Spark? Well, once again, the image is wide because that's what they're designed for, and you can make the image more narrow, but you're just using less of the sensor. It's just cropping the image, so it's really a waste of the abilities of the camera. So you might as well leave it wide because that's what they're designed for. And just like the GoPro, these are adventure action cameras, so they're designed to be placed really close to whatever is doing the action. It's not for far away, distant objects. So they work once again really well on FPV race quads. And that brings this video to a close. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below, tell me what you thought of the images. Maybe you liked it better than I did. It's only my opinion. Also, if you watch this video in 1080p, then you saw exactly the image that you should see. If you watch this image in 4K, then you did not see the image you should see, because these cameras are only filming at 1080p. And yes, I upscaled the video to 4K just for people who have a higher resolution monitor so they could watch it. And if you watched it in any resolution less than 1080p, again, you didn't see the real image for which these cameras are capable of doing. So if you have to go back and rewatch it, by all means do so, but make sure you're watching it in 1080p. Till the next time, safe flight.